This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And a beautiful night for a ball game, as tonight it's game number 2 of a 4-game series between the Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. In the lineup once again, center fielder Jon Jay. His defense on display in game 1, robbing Chase Utley not once, but twice he did it against the Phillies second baseman. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jon Jay, really around the center of the story here at the ballpark this afternoon. Everybody comes to the park. You expect to see Matt Carpenter at the top of the lineup. That's not the case. It's Jon Jay batting leadoff this evening.
Well, the Cardinals had 11 base runners last night. 1 scored. They scored only 1 run. And it's a disturbing trend that they're not getting the leadoff base runners to score multi-run innings. That's the best way to do it. That first and third, nobody out, first and third, and 1 out to where you can score a cheap run on a ground ball, sacrifice fly, things of that nature. So I think that's why one of the reasons why Mike has Jon Jay leading off tonight.
So he is shuffled up this lineup just a bit. Jon Jay will bat leadoff. Then it'll be Matt Carpenter second. And Jason Hayward is back in the lineup as well in right field. Baseball coming up. youth movement currently on National League rosters. Addison Russell, the call-up for the Chicago Cubs. Oscar Hernandez, Bryce Harper, and tonight's starter for the Phillies, Severino Gonzalez, 22 years, 212 days old. He'll make his Major League debut. Meanwhile, 23-year-old Michael Wacha will go for St. Louis. So far, he's been sensational. It's Wacha and Gonzalez here tonight. Baseball from Busch Stadium comes your way next. Night for the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. It's a look inside Cardinals Nation at Ballpark Village. And now we welcome you inside to Busch Stadium. The Phillies lineup led by Ben Revere. Odubel Herrera will bat second. Then Chase Utley, tough start for him. 4 for 59 to begin the year. Jeff Francoeur batting cleanup. Ryan Howard, Cody Ashe, Carlos Ruiz, Freddie Galvis, and Severino Gonzalez, the pitcher batting ninth and making his Major League debut. This is 23-year-old Michael Wacha going for St. Louis tonight. Tim, he's beaten Johnny Cueto twice in the Reds. And then last time out, it was Max Scherzer and the Washington Nationals. He's 3-0.
Tie ball game in the 5th inning. In that game, 1st and 3rd and nobody out. Michael Wacha, all he did was retire 3 in a row in the last 6 to face him for Washington, winning his 3rd game of the year.
Laz Diaz, who's a military veteran. We thank him for his service as he gets set. Umpires have to stretch too to get ready, I guess.
I guess.
And a strike to Ben Revere, and we're underway. Revere is hitting .200, no home runs, and he's driven in 6. Revere with 5 extra base hits so far in this first month.
No homers, of course.
That's right. And he had just 34 extra base hits in his previous 239 games with the Phillies. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Michael Wacha. There's the changeup. 2-2. That changeup is some kind of pitch, isn't it?
I think it helps him. We were talking about it in Washington. It helps because he's so tall. It's 6'4". Needs a strike here. Do not want to walk Ben Revere to lead off the game.
5 stolen bases to lead their team, and that's slap foul. I was talking with Michael Wacha the other day, and he said the changeup is something he's always had basically since the 8th or 9th grade. Developed it a little bit more late in high school. Very good pitch in college. As he pitched at Texas A&M, was one of the top collegiate pitchers, and then the Cardinals drafted him.
And Little League coaches will tell you that the changeup is a much easier pitch on the arm than the curveball.
He said that's why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that curveball of Wacha's is getting better and better. There's the fastball, broken bat, charging on the play, gloving, and not in time, throwing it away, Johnny Peralta. I'm sure that'll be an infield hit for Ben Revere. As Tim mentioned, he can really run.
I think Johnny Peralta, in his haste to pick up the ball, picked it up with 3 fingers and threw a changeup to first base.
Cardinals defense tonight with Holiday, Jay, and Hayward in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Adams along the infield. Behind the plate, Yadier Molina. And that's presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Watch his right hand. The shift. I couldn't tell right there. It bounces over Matt Adams' glove, and the Cardinals lucky Revere didn't take off to second.
Odubel Herrera bunting, and Carpenter makes the play. Revere advancing from first to second.
Lessons from Michael Wacha perhaps on that changeup from Johnny Peralta to Matt Adams. I couldn't tell. Off balance. Clearly an infield hit for Revere and a sacrifice by Herrera.
The first inning sacrifice, and now it's Chase Utley. For the Phillies to have any kind of success this year, Chase Utley has got to be better than the way he started, obviously. Hitting 121.
4 hits. Highly uncharacteristic of a guy who's had a terrific career.
4 for 59. 1 extra base hit. He had a home run. Check that, 2 home runs. And both have been at the home ballpark, Citizens Bank Park of the Phillies. 0-2.
I'll tell you, Dan, I see nothing wrong with sacrificing in the first inning for any team in the major leagues. Run production is down so far. Treat the first inning like the 6th, 7th, or 8th inning. Why not?
It makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Offense is way down this year. Here's the 0-2. Utley, a swing and a miss. The changeup got him. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. It's a circle change thrown by Michael Wacha.
The one thing about Michael Wacha, and in a way, he can save pitches on his pitch count by not wasting 0-2 pitches, but throw that changeup for a strike. And it's better than a waste pitch. And that's what he did to Utley.
Jeff Francoeur, ground ball that's hit to short, taken there by Peralta. Infield hit, and Revere left stranded. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. and Matt Holliday. Adams will bat cleanup. Then Peralta, Hayward, Molina, Wong, and Waka. Severino Gonzalez, 22 years of age and making his major league debut tonight. Signed for $14,000 as an amateur free agent from Panama.
And his catcher's a Panamanian.
That's right.
From what I've heard, and this is not official, it's the first time that a Panamanian battery has been in effect in the major leagues. Now, we're going to check on that, but I think that's right.
By the way, we just saw this shot of all the equipment on deck. That's something that's really changed in the game of baseball. All the different stuff that guys have to get ready.
It's like a hardware store down there.
Jay pops it foul, 0-2.
There was a day, Dan, that the rosin bag and the lead bat was the only thing you'd see on the on-deck circle. Now there's pine tar, there's a lead bat, there's an iron pipe.
The donut, pine tar rag. And Tim, as you know, things have changed even here at Busch Stadium. We had an incident with Albert Pujols, and it used to be a rubberized circle, the on-deck circle, as Howard flips to Gonzalez for his first out in the big leagues. And it was a rainy night. Pujols was playing first. He came in and slipped on that. It went right on his back. And so no longer do you see the rubberized mats that are put out on deck here in St. Louis. And the other thing, too, after the horrific eye injury with Juan Encarnacion, the former Cardinal right fielder.
Right.
They actually extended the fencing, if you will, to cover some of the green seats going all the way to the dugouts to protect those fans.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Matt Carpenter. There it is right there. You do see a lot of foul balls that hit that fencing. It is scary.
And fans, understandably, are not paying attention to the game at times, or the hitter, or foul balls.
What's your take on this move? Jay in the first spot, Carpenter batting second now.
I like it. I think it gives the Cardinals a better chance on the front end to bunch their hits. You bunch hits, you score runs. Jason Hayward, if he gets straightened out, hits a little better. Mike Matheny give him a bit of a break, a bit of a blow. Batting him sixth tonight instead of second.
The 2-1. Carpenter lines it foul. What a start for Matt Carpenter. You can make a case he has been, for the first month, the MVP of the National League. He's been that good.
We talked about it last night, thinking he's the best two-strike hitter in baseball, and I would be willing to listen to who's better.
No one comes to mind for me.
In either league.
The 2-2. Carpenter comes in with an average of .373. That's fourth best in the National League. DJ LeMahieu is hitting .415 with Colorado, and that's the averages with two strikes. Some speed on that list with Gordon and Galvis, Corey Dickerson. Adrian Gonzalez, not speedy, but a great hitter. This is driven. Deep right center field. Francoeur is back, and it hops off the wall. Carpenter to second, on his way to third. He is safe. One out triple for Matt Carpenter.
And oh yes, he has power with two strikes. This fastball down in the strike zone, coming very close to hitting home run number 4, but gets his first triple to lead off the ball game for St. Louis. Being his own coach there, you don't need the third base coach. Watching, going to second, deciding to go to third properly.
Now it's Holliday. Matt is hitting .615 with runners in scoring position. That's tops in the league thus far.
I said to lead off the game is 1 out. I'm so used to Matt Carpenter leading off the game. So I forgive myself. Thank you.
And I forgive you too. It's okay. Somehow we'll move forward. You look at the numbers for Carpenter where he's been in the lineup at times, and Holiday rips it into left center. It's 1-0 Cardinals. All the way to the wall. Holiday to second, and he'll stop there. So a triple, now a double, and a 1-0 lead. Just the third extra base hit for Matt Holiday this season, but already up to 12 RBIs.
Yeah, 2 extra base hits in a row, bunching extra base hits. That ball could have been down, looked like a slider or a cutter. And Holiday now leads the Cardinals in RBIs with 12.
Where the Cardinals are really looking for production. You see, Carpenter was talking to Adams and now some of the others in this lineup, I'm sure, about what he saw with Gonzalez. But the 4th and 5th spots in the lineup, they're looking for more production here, in particular from Matt Adams.
Mm-hmm. It's a telltale sign when your number 1 hole hitter and number 3 hole hitter are 1 and 2 in your RBI department, and not the power guys.
Fought off and foul. It's a tough night for Adams last night. Struck out 3 times. As Cole Hamels picked up his first win of the year. The 1-1. Ground ball. That's a base hit. Here comes Holiday. Herrera's throw. To the plate, not in time. 2-0 Cardinals.
Matt Adams is 9th
RBI.
He should be on second base, Dan. What you do is you follow the first baseman when you're around the bag, and you go as far off the bag as he's gone off the bag. This throw airmails everybody in the air to Ruiz. Matt Adams could have walked to second base. So good hitting, bad base running by Adams. Watch the first baseman, Ryan Howard, goes to the middle of the infield. Matt Adams slowing down right there when there's nobody behind him. So why stop? You can walk to second base.
Here's Peralta. Three starts at Lehigh Valley, the AAA affiliate for the Phillies. And Gonzalez was 1-1. Ripped to second, could be 2. Taken on a short hop, 4-6-3, the double play. Cardinals, though, plate 2. We head to the second. Birds on top. Ruiz. 2-0 Cardinals. Ryan Howard with 3 home runs to lead the Phillies. He's driven in 9, and that's tied with Chase Utley for the team lead. Mention that Howard is from Lafayette High School and Missouri State. And Tate Matheny, Mike's son, is a junior at Missouri State. And today he cracked MLB.com's top 100 prospects, number 95. There's a strikeout of Howard. He strikes out for the 20th time this year.
Change up low and off the plate to Howard.
Tate Matheny, people forget, was drafted by the Cardinals 23rd round in 2012. Obviously didn't sign. And Mike has requested that the team not draft his son, who will be one of the top picks coming up. Mike is saying that he watched Chris Duncan with Dave Duncan. He said that's a tough spot to be put in for both.
It's a very intelligent move by Mike, I think.
Backhanded nicely by Adams. Walker to the bag for out number 2. And speaking of the draft, let's take a look at our BJC Healthcare difference maker. First round picks the last 10 years. Cardinals, some pretty big names there. Cosma, Lin, Wong, and Waka making the most of those first round picks.
4 of the 25-man roster for the Cardinals right now.
That's right. I'd say that's pretty significant.
Yes. Bang for your buck.
You got it. Here's Carlos Ruiz. Ruiz 4 for 4 last night. So he had his first extra base hit of the year. Lifts a fly ball right center. John Jay. And a 1-2-3 inning for Michael Waka. 7 pitches in the inning. Jason Hayward leads it off when we come back. Trying to figure out life after Adam Wainwright. Jim Hayes. Adam was at the ballpark today.
Yeah, spoke to the media for the first time since he got official word that his Achilles was torn and he would miss 9 to 12 months. Waino said he kind of knew that he was out for the season as soon as it happened. He said job one for him was to make sure that the Cards didn't fall into the trap of having a lull, which he says can happen when a key player goes down. He also says he plans to be a big part of the team in terms of support, and he says he wants his team to know that he'll be around and he'll do whatever it takes. He said, I'll come to the ballpark every single day looking for a way to help the team win. And Dan, he also said he's looking on the bright side of it. He says when he comes back next year, he'll be healthy. And he says no one can say he's piled up too many innings, so he won't be on the innings watch anymore.
Yeah, I think that was one of those, well, nagging questions repeatedly asked him about the innings and curtailing the workload.
Right.
I think he was sick of dealing with that. But this is not the way that he wanted to not have to worry about it.
Well, realistically, you came up with a great point before the game, saying that because he pitches so deep into a ball game that it could potentially be worse for the bullpen, because they're going to Mike Matheny's going to need his bullpen a lot more without Wainwright as his first starter of 5.
Right now, the bullpen has thrown the fewest innings in the National League, right around 50. But when you subtract Adam Wainwright from that equation, that's a lot of innings over the course of the season.
Right, a lot of 7, 8, and 9 inning starts last year by Waino. And that obviously relieves the arms in the bullpen.
1 ball, 1 strike on Yadier Molina. Hayward is a threat to steal at first as Yadi pops it foul. And tonight, Molina will reach 11,000 innings caught. There's Revere, Herrera, and Francoeur in the outfield. Ash, Galvis, Utley, Howard, and Gonzalez, Ruiz, all part of the 9 for the Phillies defense, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. By the way, Molina's 600 innings shy of my partner tonight, Tim McCarver. That's a lot of innings behind the plate, my man.
A lot of innings.
Your body tells you that too, right?
Yes. Yadi will pass that total innings mark easily.
A 2-2. I was talking with Yadi the other day, and Tim, he told me he did not become a full-time catcher until about 16 years of age. He was a third baseman growing up in Puerto Rico, and then eventually moved behind the plate and only played on the weekends. That's all they played. As Hayward is running and the pitch is fouled back.
Well, being the youngest of the 3, Benji and Jose, the other 2, I would imagine he probably, from a deep-seated standpoint, wanted to do something different than his 2 older brothers. Didn't want to catch.
He also said that he would like to play the infield at some point before his career is through. They check on Hayward. He's back in safely.
I think Yadier Molina could make a very good third baseman. It may be late in his career as far as mobility is concerned. You can see Hayward leaning, cannot get picked off with the count 3-2 or on a hit and run play.
There he goes, and the pitch is taken for a ball. So a single and a walk for the Cardinals here in the home half of the second. Let's turn to Tim McCarver's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, so far those keys are rather enlightening in that the Cardinals trying to bunch their hits early. Base runners to lead off innings for the Cardinals. They didn't get the leadoff man on in the first, but with 1 out, Carpenter singled, or I beg your pardon, tripled. Holiday doubled, and Matt Adams drove in Holiday with a single.
Beautiful night here in St. Louis, and what we do know about Severino Gonzalez is that in 5 minor league seasons, he's always had good command, very good control. 415 innings, and Tim, only 67 walks. That's one of the reasons that they brought him up. Here's Colton Wong. Let's say that Carpenter is not going to be your leadoff man. Are we looking at a future leadoff man in Colton Wong at some point in his career?
I think if John Jay plays, John is a better leadoff man than Wong. However, to your point, I don't think Colton Wong's an 8th place hitter either. Because with the pitcher batting in the National League, that really takes the speed away from Wong. Put him at the top of the lineup, maybe second or sixth. Then you utilize the speed, but you can't utilize it with him batting eighth.
2 on, no balls, 2 strikes. Last year, this right-hander spent the season with Double-A Reading, was 9-13 in 27 starts. Wong hits it in the air. Left field, Ben Revere coming on, and it drops. Hayward rounding third. The throw is in time. Runners move up to second and third. He took a chance.
Nah, that's a bad play. With none out, no way. I think he ran by the stop sign of Jose Oquendo, getting high fives from his teammates, but the Cardinals with 2 glaring base running mistakes. One by Matt Adams, the other right here. Nobody out. See, he turned and looked. Now, Oquendo may have said, go, go, go. But by Howard looking when he touched the bag, he couldn't pick up Oquendo. But with nobody out, that's a bad base running play. Instead of the bases loaded, second and third and 1 out.
And the pitcher up.
Yeah.
That's Michael Wacha, who's 0 for 7 so far this year. Jose Oquendo flashing signs, whistling to Wacha to step out and get those signs. Infield is drawn in. Wacha chops it left side. Run scores. They may have had a play on Molina at the plate.
But that was good base running by Yadier Molina. A good break from third on the contact play, not a fast runner. Cody Ashe looked home, but he kind of juggled the ball. But Molina going all the way, right foot. Ashe, had he come up cleanly with the ball, he has a shot. But unsure, the Cardinals score their 3rd run of the game.
So runner at third now, John Jay. Cardinals already with 3 runs, 5 hits. Jay grounded out to first, and he's 0 for 1. And that's a base hit into right. 2-out RBI base hit for John Jay. 4-0 St. Louis.
Martinez being beat around pretty firmly by the Cardinals. Look at the hits up and down the lineup. 6 hits so far. 6 hits of the first 9 Cardinal batters.
Brings in Matt Carpenter with 2 down. If you're Ryan Sandberg, it's almost a helpless feeling too, because you need innings, and yet you don't want to leave a rookie out there in his major league debut to get beat up. You're helpless almost.
Yeah, it's a quandary that you don't want in April.
No.
Where you need innings already.
There's a high fly ball out to deep right field. Francoeur on the track and puts it away. Carpenter gave it a ride. 4-0 after 2. But the box score, and Tim mentioned the hits up and down this lineup so far. 6 of them already. Peralta, ball he hit into a double play, was scorched. Severino is not fooling many tonight. And a strikeout at the knees to Freddie Galvis, the switch hitter, the shortstop for the Phils. Up the middle and a base hit. Is it safe to say, Tim, that we're looking now at the ace of the staff and Michael Walker?
I don't think there's any question about it. 3 starts, 2 solo home runs. He's only given up 3 runs, 1 in each start.
Since 1985, the only pitchers ages 23 or younger to do that in their first 3 starts of a season. And Walker has a chance. Ooh, he thought about going to second. They'll get the shore out.
4-0 lead, you can't do it. I think Yadier Molina called him off of second base properly.
But those 2 pitchers this young and to have this kind of success to start the year, Dontrell Willis and Francisco Liriano. Let's listen in and see if he had direction.
This is a catcher's call, because he sees the runner and how close he is to second base. With a 4-run lead, you got to get the out at first. Michael made the right play.
Ben Revere. If you include tonight, Michael Walker, with runners on, has had hitters up 33 times with runners on. He's allowed 2 hits in those spots.
That is just, it blows you away, doesn't it?
Poise, confidence, really dominating. One-0 pitch to Ben Revere. 2-0. Revere had an infield hit. His at-bat was 8 pitches. Then the next 3, it took just 5 pitches to get out of the inning. Second inning, a total of 7 pitches. We talked about the innings that Wainwright would have provided, knock on wood, if he was healthy. And the Cardinals are very careful in terms of innings, in particular with Michael Walker, Carlos Martinez, and you would have to assume, if he's up here at some point, Marco Gonzalez. The 2-1 pitch. Chop to the right side. Colt Long. 2 down.
Adam Wainwright had 131 career games where he went 7 innings or more. 284 career games with 6 innings. Actually, 6 innings or less.
You think about just the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here's Herrera's sacrifice first time up. Tim talked about the unique stance of the center fielder of the Phillies, in particular with the front leg wide open.
Almost over on his instep also. Yeah. Side of the foot. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with that stance. That wide open, certainly.
Thought the
but not with that instep almost on the ground.
Not like that. Oddest stance I can remember is Craig Counsell. Remember how he'd hold the bat so high?
Yeah, sure.
2-1.
Now, granted, it's not where you start with your stance, but where you are when the ball's about 15 feet away. And all good hitters are, for the most part, in a good spot to hit hard. That's an awful lot to do with that front side to get into a hitting position.
The 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2. As told today, the Cardinals have already sold 2.9 million tickets, and they are trending again for 3.5 million.
Man,
that's incredible.
It really is. That's what happens when you're in the postseason 11 out of 15 years.
4 World Series appearances.
Phillies haven't been in the postseason 11 years in their history.
Right.
Since 1883.
Right center. This is trouble. That ball will get down and the Phillies get on the board. Line shot off the wall. And Herrera picks up his 5th RBI, and it's 4-1.
Looked like a high fastball to Herrera. He drives that ball. The open stance, the leg kick, good power. No chance for John Jay.
Chase Utley struck out on a changeup first time up. Walker struck out 2. And he hits it the other way. That's a base hit. Herrera will score. It's now 4-2. A 2-out rally put together here by the Phillies.
Johnny Peralta rightly playing Utley up the middle, and Utley squirts a single through on the left side. Second run for the Phillies.
Chase Utley is 3 games away from playing in game number 1500 wearing that uniform. And there's only 10 players in the Phillies history, long history, that have ever done that. Francoeur on the first pitch, pops it up. Grounded out to short to end the top of the first. 0 for 1. Now 0-2.
That's the best fastball of the night by Waka. He aired that one out.
Oh, 2 pitch. And it's 1-2.
That second fastball by Waka, the last pitch, like your drive when you hit one out of bounds. An angry drive 800 yards down the middle.
There's a little extra on that one, a little extra oomph.
Yeah.
Frustration maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a 1-2. Popped up again. Find myself doing that a lot on the golf course, unfortunately. Francoeur came up through the Braves organization, and he and Adam Wainwright known each other for years, and the amount of well wishes that have come his way gives you an idea of what Adam not only means here in St. Louis, but also to the rest of baseball. Just a class act. Quick move and almost got Utley.
Utley with an idea about running a little lean towards second base.
They may check and see You can see David Bell. He said safe. Potential review on that play. That was awfully close. So 2-2 the count on Jeff Francoeur. Utley off with this next pitch from first base, 3-2, 2 outs, which turned into a long third inning here for Michael Wacha. Popped up again. This time it is playable. Peralta puts it away. And a beautiful night for baseball here in St. Louis. Power equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hayes, Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you. And Holiday rips it into center field. He's 2 for 2.
Ricky Horton picked up on the Matt Bats in the first inning to play 2 runs for the Cardinals, a triple by Carpenter, a double by Holiday, and a single by Matt Adams. And just for the fun of it, Matt Bats was one of my favorite baseball cards as a kid growing up in Memphis. He played 10 years in the majors. His name was Matt Bats, B-A-T-T-S. 5 years in Boston, 3 in Detroit, and his last year with the St. Louis Browns in 1951. Matt Bats. Pretty good hitter, too. 270 lifetime average.
That's a heck of a last name if you're going to be a baseball player.
Isn't that great? Matt Bats.
If you're a pitcher, I don't think you want to be named Bob Walk.
No.
And there is a Bob Walk. Homer Bailey.
Might be one of... It might be that you want to be named after the pilot in Airplane, Stryker.
Adams with a high fly ball. Right field. Francoeur back. Off the wall. Holiday digging for third. Severino is saying, surely, you've got to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding. Don't call me Shirley.
2 on, nobody out. And another meeting on the mound. 6 is a serious number, and on the run when the Cardinals score 6, any size drink is just 50 cents the next day. Coffee, fountain, or frozen drink. When they score, you pour. At your nearest on the run, you earned it. I thought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's role in that might have been my favorite.
Oh, was he fabulous in that?
Here's Johnny Peralta. A good cut.
Kareem told me that he is recognized in Europe, in airports in Europe, because of that shot of him and the pilot, more than he is a basketball player. Because, of course,
Really?
in Europe, he's very popular and famous,
Sure.
but not like that movie.
My dad says you stink. Come here, kid. You got the wrong guy. Finally, Kareem has had enough. There's a lot of lines I'd like to talk about, but we can't.
But we can't.
0-2 on Johnny Peralta. No activity for the Phillies in their pen. Cardinals with 8 hits already. The Central American country of Panama doesn't have the baseball pedigree, obviously, of some of the other Caribbean countries, but you think about some of the players that have come from there. Arguably the game's greatest closer, Mariano Rivera. Arguably the best player was Rod Carew. Rod Carew, born in Panama and then in his teenage years moved to New York and all the way to the Hall of Fame.
Had his number retired in Minneapolis with the Twins and the Angels in Southern California. What a player. My gosh. He had 12 bunt base hits in 1969 with a runner on at third.
That is incredible.
12 bunt base hits for RBIs.
He was the hitting coach, Tim, with Milwaukee, and Milwaukee at the time was setting the all-time record for strikeouts. And here's a guy that never struck out, right?
Right.
And I said to him, and we did a long, extended interview, and I said, how did you get out of, just the basic ruts of a season when you can't buy a hit? He said, it wasn't hard for me. I dropped down a bunt, and once I got that bunt, my slump was over.
Maybe the greatest bunter, not only of his generation, but in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a sensational bunter.
What a nice man, too.
Oh, yeah. Classy guy.
But he had on that team Jose Hernandez, Jeremy Burnitz, Richie Sexton. I mean, you're talking about some guys that were piling up 200 strikeouts a year. And
Right.
their hitting coach is Rod Carew. He was frustrated, to say the least. Peralta, fly ball into right center. Herrera makes the catch. Runners tag up. And that makes it a 5-2 St. Louis lead.
What an at-bat by Johnny Peralta, fouling off some very difficult pitches. And thinking about that mantra of not allowing a pitcher to get him out away with 2 strikes. Rear end flies out of there. Watch this swing. It's actually off the plate away, looked like a cutter. Rear end out of there. He just muscles that ball out to right center, not only scoring the run, but sending Adams to third with 1 out.
We've only seen Severino Gonzalez here tonight. And right now you can just see he does not have a put-away pitch at this level, at least not yet.
No.
Not fooling many.
No. I'm a little surprised. I'm a lot surprised to see the Phillies halfway in the infield. You got to play them all the way in, don't you?
I would agree. Corners, well, the only one is Ashe. He's off the line, but even with the bag, Hayward is back a step or 2 at first, and middle infield is about halfway.
Maybe their thinking is that Matt Adams is not a fast runner and you can afford to play back, but on a weakly hit ground ball, Adams can score.
And a walk to Hayward, and the second walk issued by Severino Gonzalez. Ironically enough, nice note here from Tony Severino, big Cardinals fan watching in Shawnee Mission West. never misses a game. So you got Severino the first name and Severino the last name. Cardinal fans all over the place.
What a brand name.
It's incredible. Molina walked and scored in the second inning. Eight hits for St. Louis. They've received a pair of walks. They lead it 5-2. Only one out here in the bottom of the third. Quite the month here for this starter of the Phillies. Promoted to AAA and now the major leagues within 3 weeks of each other. Ooh, he was leaning and just got back in time.
Gonzalez, a very deliberate throw to first base. Otherwise, he may have had him.
Want to know the count on Molina. He has really slowed it down. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, you notice the pace of Waka compared to Gonzalez.
Night and day. Even with runners on, Waka works at a pretty quick pace. Features that low 90s fastball, slider, changeup that he began to develop last year, and that helped his rise through the minor leagues. The 2-0. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. He may be a hit away from being out of this game, too.
Yeah.
Or double play away from heading to the 4th. I miss seeing Charlie Manuel.
I do too.
He was one of my favorites. Longtime manager of the Phillies.
You had a lot of company too in that department then. He was a good man. Still works for the Phillies in spring training primarily. Catches our game down in Winter Haven, Florida.
Two one, runner goes, and the pitch is hit into shallow left. Revere makes the catch. Runner will tag. Here comes the throw, and safe is Adams. Hayward back to the bag at first. Adams scores. RBI for Molina, number 9 this year.
That was a good slide by Matt Adams, sliding to the left of the catcher and spanking home plate with his left hand.
You know, with the new rules in baseball, I look at it and I still see plays where I think the catcher is blocking the plate.
Yeah,
that's
left
close.
Left leg. All you're doing is making him go around you. I think you ought to. Well, you know, the rule is so vague now. Anyway,
that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah.
And then you ask people that are in uniform every day around the game, and they don't know the answer.
No, I know it.
Two outs and a runner at first, and Wong hits a fly ball into right. Francoeur over near the sidewall and into the seats. the idea is that at home plate, the runner has to have a lane with these new rules.
Well, the lane was created by Adams, the way I saw it, outside that prevented him from sliding straight into home, but it allowed him to touch home plate by going around the shin guard. So it looked legit to me.
Wong jammed, shallow right center, and that drops. Hayward on his way to third. And Gonzalez can't catch a break. Well, if you're Ryan Sandberg, you're saying he's got the pitcher coming up. I could stay with him here. And after this, if he can't get Waka, then that could be it for his debut.
Yeah, the pitcher batting fifth in the top of the fourth inning.
It's 2 bloop hits for Colton Wong. He'll take them. Michael Waka with a ground out and an RBI back in the second inning. Ruiz steps out in front of the plate, gives the defensive signs, and runners at the corners, 2 down.
I think that sign was, if the runner goes, I'm not throwing through, with the pitcher hitting.
Center field. Herrera won't get it. Waka comes through. Drives in Jason Hayward. And the Cardinals add to their lead. It's now 7-2. Waka's first hit in 2015.
Second RBI of the game for Michael Waka. Had a ground out on a good base running play by Yadier Molina. Now I think you're going to see a double switch from Ryan Sandberg.
Dustin McGowan coming in. Gorgeous night here in St. Louis. The Stan the Man statue just outside the ballpark. Well, just head into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. You'll receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. So stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations for this sensational deal. Dustin McGowan. Carry 7 right-handers in their pen, 1 lefty. That's Jake Diekman, hard-throwing lefty. And McGowan will be asked to be extended in this game. A double switch. Grady Sizemore is into the ball game, the former Cleveland Indian and Boston Red Sox. Boy, for a while, he was one of the premier players in the game.
He really was, on the cover of Sports Illustrated about 5 years ago. Perhaps longer.
First pitch in on the hands of Jay for strike one. Dustin McGowan, the Hyundai pitch arsenal, features a fastball, a slider, and the changeup.
Kind of standard equipment for a guy like McGowan, who is normally a starter. He started one game this year. All sorts of problems for the Phillies early. You hate to see that in April, but on the other hand, you like to take advantage of facing them in April.
Ashe makes the play. Cardinals strand 2, but they pick up 3 more. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 more this inning. Adds up to a 7-2 lead. Tons of offense early on for the Cardinals. 10 hits in 3 innings off of Severino Gonzalez. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Cardinals. And the top of the 4th rolls in 7-2 in favor of St. Louis. Here's Ryan Howard, and a pitch taken high. Former MVP Ryan Howard. He struck out his first time up back in the 2nd inning. Swings through a breaking ball to even it up at 1-1. That strikeout was number 20 already this year for Howard, but that's not even close to the league leader Jorge Soler of the Cubs with 29. Carpenter thought about going after that, the shift, and instead it went into the glove of Colton Long. Ranging far to his left. Tonight, Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on 13 other Major League games. Full highlights from around the league, plus the latest on the city of Baltimore. You need to know how it affects Major League Baseball and the Orioles. Strike on Cody Ashe. The riots have caused the postponement of 2 games already against the White Sox in Baltimore. They will play tomorrow in front of an empty stadium. There will not be any fans allowed in the ballpark for that ball game. And Baltimore was scheduled to play Tampa Bay at home following the White Sox series. That now has been shifted to Tampa Bay, in which Baltimore will be the home team. The games will be televised, but fans not allowed in the stadium. 2-2 the count on Cody Ashe. Grounded out his first time. And he pops it back foul. Mentioned last night, Cody Ashe is from this area. The 2-2. And Colt Wong is there. Cody was telling me that he still talks to his longtime coach, Rick Strickland, who was part of the St. Louis Pirates program, very good local program developing talent here in town. And he said Rick still watches every game and they talk just about every other day. Still takes advice from him too. Sees his at bats. Must be very, very proud. Here's Carlos Ruiz. So Howard grounded out to second. Ashe a ground out. And 0-1 the count on Ruiz.
Rick, one of the many coaches and teachers that have had so much to do with our lives growing up. I say that thinking of George Kissel. I was down with Mike Shannon before the game talking about Kurt Flood and George Kissel for the Cardinals Hall of Fame, and how much everyone in uniform and out of uniform found out from George Kissel, who died at age 88 in a car accident in Florida. But what a wondrous man he was. Just can't say enough good things about him.
Here's a 1-2. How about Dave Ricketts and the impact on catching in this organization?
Oh, yeah.
At the ballpark down in Jupiter, there's a plaque that recognizes George Kissel and his many achievements in the organization, what he meant to so many of the players. And there's actually the George Kissel Award now. Here's a 2-2. And a strikeout for Walker, his third tonight. Sends us to the bottom of the fourth. 7-2 St. Louis. And we say hello again to Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan Randall Grichuk on the DL, as you know, with a lower back strain, but he is making progress. Told me he's now doing baseball-related activities. He hit off a tee for the second time today. He did some light throwing. Still isn't ready to field ground balls because of the stress it could put on his back, but he says he is feeling better every day. He says he thinks the next step is a rehab assignment, but he still has some healing to do before he gets to that point. Dan, by the way, he's eligible to come off the DL on May 2nd.
Jim, how about the starter on Thursday? Who will that be?
That will be Tim Cooney. We kind of alluded to it last night. He was scratched from his start at Memphis, so he will be making the jump from AAA, and he will get the start for the Cardinals on Thursday in place of Adam Wainwright.
All right. Here's Matt Carpenter, Matt Holliday, Matt Adams. So he'll go against David Buchanan on Thursday. Buchanan already 0-4 with an ERA near 8. Tim Cooney is a 24-year-old left-hander. He's thrown just about 400 minor league innings, and we'll see his debut on Thursday. Carpenter has tripled and scored and also fly to right. You know, we were talking between innings about George Kissel and the impact that he's made on this franchise. It's still felt today, very prevalent. But you were telling me, Tim, how he made you think through the game.
Well, I mean, you know, I was talking about it with Mike down in the bowels of Busch Stadium, and I thought about George and his effect on me, and he helped me as a player for 21 years, thinking about the game and executing in the game and all the finer nuances of the game.
Carpenter on a hop to second. Chase Utley.
But he also helped me with my second career as a broadcaster. He helped me think the game and think about all of the different ways to play this wonderful sport and the inner workings of the sport and the little small things around second and short. For instance, as an example, I'd never heard before, with the runner running at first base and the hit and run on, that the middle infielders, in order to cut down from their positions, move forward and not over. In other words, don't evacuate your position. Move in, you're closer to the bag. If the hitter swings through it, then you make the tag because the catcher still can throw him out. So you don't vacate the position. You move in on the ball. The first time I'd ever heard it. And I know there are major league second basemen and shortstop that have never heard that before, because the only guy who said it, to my knowledge, was George Kissel.
John Mabry told me the reason he's in coaching, basically the only reason, is George Kissel. And George helped him make the transition from being an everyday first baseman to an outfielder and a third baseman. And he said George put him on his knees at third base on the grass and would just pound ground ball after ground ball on his knees.
That's what Mike Shannon did in the spring of 1967, and his willingness to go from right field to third base to make room for Roger Maris was one of the keys to our season that year in '68.
And John said, I owed it to George Kissel to get back into coaching, because he said, John went to George and said, what do I have to do for you? I got to do something. He said, do me this favor. He said, there's a reason I've always worked with you like I've had to do with various positions. Do me a favor. Make sure you coach and teach the game. And here he is.
There's one wonderful story after another.
Strikeout of Holliday.
Followed George Kissel for 10s and 20s and 30s of years.
Tim, you've been in the game a long time. My first years, it was 18 years ago, doing the Cardinals, and George at that point in time was traveling with us. And as you know, I like to get to the ballpark just a little early.
You can, I'm telling you, earlier than anybody I've ever dealt with.
And George would be sitting in the dugout every day.
Here and now.
And I sat there and I used to talk to him for about an hour, and then he'd go take a walk. That was his exercise. And then I go into Tony La Russa's office and hang out with him for about 2 hours.
Two pretty good teachers right there.
You bet. It's a quick education in the game.
Man.
Tony was great to deal with in that regard. You know, from our perspective in the media and trying to figure out why a manager does certain things, he always had a reason. You may not agree with it, but he had a reason that made you think. Adams beats the shift and a base hit into right, and Matt is 3 for 3.
So he's really beaten the shift twice. He hit one to the right of the second baseman. And now one to the right of the, I don't know what you call that guy in shallow center field, a shallow right fielder.
Works for me. I don't think anybody in baseball has really figured out how you even score it.
No.
So 2 outs and a runner at first. And that's pulled foul. I don't know if you saw our pregame show, but kudos to Jim Hayes, who had an interview with Gary Sinise, the actor, Lieutenant Dan, Forrest Gump. And Jim's interview was just outstanding. I'm not sure if we'll have that up on the website or not, but if you get a chance, take a look at it. All the different things that Gary has done for the military. He is a fan of baseball in Chicago, and you can guess which team, but we still allowed him in the ballpark. Gary Sinise. One pitch. Nice to see Red Shandy's pop in the booth tonight as well.
Yeah, numero dos.
Looks good too, doesn't he?
Looks great.
A little bit under the weather. Did not get down to Roger Dean this year in Jupiter, but he's here every day.
70th year in baseball. 70th.
That's incredible, isn't it? 70 years of Major League Baseball. There's Red. John Mozeliak. John Vooch also next to Red. John Vooch has been with the club for 30-plus years. And held on to by Carlos Ruiz. And strikeout number 2 for Dustin McGowan. Michael Wacha has allowed just 4 base hits. It'll be Galvis, Grady Sizemore, and then Ben Revere. Inauspicious Major League debut, to say the least, for the starter tonight, Severino Gonzalez. 2 2/3, 7 runs on 10 hits, no strikeouts, pair of walks.
We mentioned Charlie Manuel, the former manager of the Phillies. earlier. And Freddie Galvis is in his 9th year with the Phillies. He's 25 years old. Signed as a 16-year-old.
And he slaps it the other way for a base hit.
He can play. And the first guy in their organization that found out he could play and said he could play, Charlie Manning.
Love the drink run with any size, any flavor. McCafe shake for just $1.99 at McDonald's. And there's a look at the Chevy Fox Tracks.
Freddie Galvis was a 17-year-old, and they were going through drills in spring training, and he knew everywhere to go as an infielder from every position. And Charlie asked him, how do you know so much about positioning as an infielder? He said, I've known it since I was 9 years old.
Right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Red and 70 years Major League Baseball. This is the 50th year for Larry Bowa.
Yeah.
In Major League Baseball, 31 in some form or fashion with the Phillies.
Guy cut from his high school baseball team twice. Once by his father, Paul. It's a fact. In Fresno, California. Actually, Sacramento, I beg your pardon.
What kind of dad is that?
Yeah. Kid, I love you, but you can't play.
He could play. 5-time All-Star.
Did he ever?
A couple of Gold Gloves. 16 years in the big leagues.
Yes, sir.
As a player.
Formerly managed the Phillies. Was a bench coach before then. Managed them. Fired. Worked for the MLB Network. And then Ryan Sandberg asked him to be his bench coach, so he came back to Philadelphia.
3-1 on Sizemore. You know, he is old school. I don't know him obviously like you do, but I've been around him enough to know he's old school. I wonder what he thinks about just some of the things that are happening right now in today's game. If it frustrates him, especially with a team that looks to be rebuilding, younger players.
He's like a lot of the older players, you know, that the young players look to and say, yeah, we understand. That was in your day. Well, you're not in your day anymore. They may think that. They don't say it, but they think it.
3-2 the count.
Not all of the players, mind you, but some.
And Ryan Sandberg traded with Larry Bowa to the Cubs. That's their connection. Both were with the Phillies and then both traded to Chicago.
Yeah, Dallas Green, who's now a scout for the Phillies, was the general manager of the Cubs at the time and said, if Sandberg's not in the deal, it was for Ivan DeJesus, a shortstop. If he's not in the deal, we're not making it.
1982.
Yeah.
And a walk issued by Michael Wacha, his first of the night. So Sizemore is aboard. First two have reached, nobody out, top of the lineup. And we talked a little bit about the game against Bruce Sutter that really put Ryan Sandberg on the map. And I was visiting with Ryan before the game, and he said it unquestionably changed my career. And he said Bob Costas was on the call.
And Tony Kubek.
They had given Willie McGee the star of the game or the player of the game already. Willie hit for the cycle in that game. He said the credits were rolling when Sandberg hit his first home run and then hit another one off of Sutter an inning later. Game the Cubs eventually won, and he said at that point in time Steve Sax was leading in the All-Star voting. That propelled him past Steve Sax, and then he won his MVP. He thinks based on that game it went to 100% of the country. It was actually supposed to be the second game, and it went to the 100% of the country
because of rain out of the other game.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about that?
He said if that doesn't happen, that rain out, I may not be the MVP. What a player he was, too, man. Whoa. I think people also forget Sandberg was a shortstop. He played third base and then settled in at second base.
Terrific athlete.
Yes. One of two Hall of Famers currently managing right now in the big leagues. The other, Paul Molitor with Minnesota. 3-0. Walker right now struggling with the strike zone a bit.
Yeah, 5-run lead. Oh, boy.
Now the base is loaded. 2 rare walks. Get St. Louis's 2 favorite destinations for one great price with the Cardinals Six Flags Double Play Combo. Double Play Combo includes a ticket to a 2015 Cardinals game and a one-day pass to Six Flags St. Louis. Get yours now at cardinals.com/Six Flags. Bit disturbing. 5-run lead, back-to-back walks, and when Michael Wacha is right, rarely, if ever, in his starts do you see a walk.
I was thinking the same thing. Back-to-back walks, unheard of for Michael.
2 in the inning, the only 2 in the game, and now it's Herrera with a 2-out RBI double into right center, back in the third. Bases loaded and nobody out. One and one. You find in your years of catching, Tim, you get out to a big lead like this. Clearly a team in the Phillies that has not hit well this year, that sometimes you can get into that point of a lack of concentration as Adams steps on the bag and a run will score. So 1 out, run does score to make it 7-3, but
I know what
you
you're
hit that
saying.
lull, you know?
I know what you're saying. There's a winning rhythm to a close game. When you get a 5-run lead, there are a lot of guys who can't pitch as well with a 5-run lead as they can with a 1 or 2-run lead. I know that sounds weird, but keeping things sharp is what
almost
you want to do.
Almost as if the edge.
Yeah, the edge. Matt Adams took the sure out, and that's what he should have done.
So Galvis has scored twice, 2 RBIs for Herrera. Here's Chase Utley, who's singled to left. Runners at second and third. That pitch up. See Randy Choate getting loose, and you're thinking he's getting ready for Howard or Ashe, and you know the Cardinals are just trying to get Wacha through 5. It's sharply to first again, bobbled by Adams. Wacha is there at the bag. Out number 2, run does score. That's Sizemore to make it 7-4.
That's a luxury you have on the right side of the diamond. You can bobble the ball and still have time to get your man. Fortunately, the ball does not bounce that far away from Adams and Wacha covering. So 2 ground balls to first, 2 RBIs, but only a 3-run game.
Pinch hitter is Darren Ruff, so McGowan is through. Phillies go back to their pen, looking ahead to the bottom of the 5th. And a liner, and caught by Peralta. Phillies pick up 2 at 7-4. and will come your way at 6:30. It's the Budweiser What's on Tap. Hard throwing lefty, I mean hard. Jake Diekman, 28-year-old from Nebraska.
100 strikeouts last year, was third in the National League. First time a Phillies left-hander had struck out 100 since 1983 when Al Holland did it.
Chevy called to the pen. They only have one lefty, Tim. Do you find this an interesting move by Ryan Sandberg?
You know, at first you say, wait a minute, he's one of your better left-handers. What are you going to do latter part of the game? But I think he's in there now to go through the order, the Cardinal order, one time and to reestablish order to stop the Cardinals as the Phillies continue to try to inch forward, trailing by only 3. If it's a 5-run game, I don't think he's in there.
Diekman didn't even play baseball. He's from a very small town in Nebraska until his high school years. More of a golfer because the small town did not have a baseball team for him to play on.
But they had a golf course?
They had a golf course. Here's a 2-0 to Hayward. Now 3-0. He's a good one. Hayward is 1 for 1 with a single to right, walk and a run scored, and now he walks for the second time. Close the book on McGowan. Inning at 2/3. No runs. So here we are in the bottom of 5, and the Phillies already with their third pitcher in the game. Molina has walked and scored, and a sac fly RBI. It looks at strike 1. We were talking about this before the game. When do you know to transition a minor league pitcher from starter to reliever or vice versa? Diekman, primarily in the minor leagues, was a starter, then converted to a reliever, and that's when his stock rose in the organization. Very similar to Kevin Segrist, who was a starter, and then they told him this is for the betterment of your career to go to be a reliever, and he's a very good lefty.
You know, I don't know the answer to that, Dan, but I do know the answer to, is it easier to become a reliever if you're a starter in the minors or vice versa? And the former is true.
Runner goes. Ashe, what a play on the backhand. That's his second outstanding play in this series.
Boy, that was a beauty right there. How in the world did Cody Ashe ever come up with this ball? I don't think he saw it. He reached in the area where he thought it was going to be. Watch.
Oh, he ducked.
He didn't see it. He reached in the area where he thought the ball was going to be, got it, made the play. That's a beauty there. But it's easier to change a pitcher from a starter to a reliever in the major leagues because he's already proven arm strength, distance, all of the things that can make a good short reliever over a period of days, weeks, months in a major league season.
Talk to John Mozeliak like we do, and he says the hardest thing for him year to year is to figure out a bullpen. 1 year, pitcher is lights out. Next year, can't figure it out.
If he's lights out 1 year, you want to overuse him.
Good example of that was Mitchell Boggs. I mean, Mitchell Boggs was the closer for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And then within a couple of months, he was out of baseball, looking for a job.
Went to Colorado after that, right?
Colorado, White Sox, Boston. Here's a 1-1. Hayward is dancing out there at second base. Ashe is pretty far off the line at third. Three balls, one strike. Michael Wacha is on deck. Diekman finally set. 3-2. He comes set, but he hasn't even checked on Jason Hayward. Doesn't even look back.
Yeah, it's a little tough for Hayward to even think about running because Ruiz has a pretty good arm, and plus, more importantly, there's no right-handed hitter to impede his view to third base.
Broken bat, slowly hit, right side. Utley makes the play to Howard. 2 down. And the hitter will be Michael Wacha. Look like the pros with a one-of-a-kind replica batting practice jersey. Saturday, May 2nd. 25,000 fans, 16 and older, can take home a replica Matt Carpenter BP jersey. And tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions. Good night at the plate for Michael Wacha with a pair of RBIs.
He's never had 3 RBIs in a game.
And that's ball 1. Cardinals come into play tonight. 5th best in the National League in average. .260 on base percentage. 4th best. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
I'll tell you, every time you see a pitcher like Wacha take a pitch like that, you're going to be thinking of Adam Wainwright, even though his was swinging. That little skip to Malou in the batter's box.
2-1. I thought Wainwright, his comments before the game were outstanding. It's more of a rallying cry than crying for him. He's very upbeat, very positive, knowing that his year is done, but expects to be back 100% next year.
Second pitch of the at-bat, right there. I thought of Wainwright immediately.
3-2. We'll do it again. I think from Mike Matheny's perspective right now, a 3-run lead. Like to squeeze one more inning out of Michael Wacha. The final 9 outs could be left up to the pen. And he walked him. So Diekman with a pair of walks here in this inning. Cardinals have received 4 tonight. We're back to the top of the lineup, John Jay. John Jay batted first in 3 games last year in the lineup. 2013, he started off as the leadoff man until a change on April 18th. And a game that really changed the fortunes of the Cardinal season. They moved Carpenter to the leadoff spot. Edward Mujica that night became the closer, and he took off. He was an all-star that year. So 2 major changes, and the Cardinals were off to a big run in regular season play and then eventually to the World Series. Now time is called, 2 balls and no strikes. And that happened against the Phillies.
Matt Carpenter was the second baseman then, right?
That's right, second baseman. Yeah. David Freese was still with the club.
Mm-hmm.
.23 pitches for the lefty here in the 5th. Could be a long year for Bob McClure. I mean, what's a pitching coach say in those meetings?
That's tough.
Throw strikes while I'm trying.
Well, you don't. Yeah, I mean, you don't. There's nothing mechanical that you talk about.
No.
You don't want to talk about anything mechanical on the mound. Those are bullpen sessions. That's when you do things like that. I don't know. I didn't go to that many on the mound.
Ooh, almost hit Jay, who was hit by a pitch last night for the 3rd time. He's been hit 23 times since the beginning of last year. 3-0 the count.
Led the majors, being hit 20 times last year.
3-1.
Last night is the only time I've seen a reaction out of John after being hit.
Screamed through the bat a little bit.
Hitting the right arm, right.
3-2.
The odds are about 10-1 that John Jay, if he puts the ball in play, is going to be the left side of the field with 2 strikes, almost always.
Hits it to the left side and a diving stop. What a tremendous play, but Jay is safe and a run will score. Freddie Galvis, remarkable play, and Tim, you're right on it. Just keeps that front shoulder in and takes it the other way.
He does. I mean, we've seen him do it so many times. It's almost like if you employed a reverse shift against Jay and playing him around toward the left, you'd be better off. Galvis, a brilliant play. Even to make it close at first base. Remarkable. Fastball hit hard right to the left of Galvis. John Jay with his 2nd RBI of the ball game.
Matt Carpenter has tripled and scored. Fly to deep right, grounded out to second. 13th multi-hit game last night. Kia in the driver's seat. What he's done at home. Big names on that list. Two balls and 1 strike. He's hitting, coming into play tonight at home, .483. The multi-hit games, 13, more than half of the Phillies' entire team. The 2-1. In the air, left center, well hit again. Herrera on the move, won't get it. Ground rule double into the seats. Carpenter, another multi-hit game. Phillies catch a break as Jay will go back to 3rd, but a run does score. This guy is on fire.
And the more you see Matt Carpenter, the more you realize that he allows the ball to come deep in the strike zone. Deep, deeper, deepest. Deep in the strike zone, deep in the outfield is the result. You don't realize how strong he is. Not home run power, but middle of the track power.
Isn't that part of having the great eye, letting the ball get deep? You don't chase the ball.
Yep. You don't commit too early. Remember, we talk about it all the time. The things that you must have as a hitter is to wait and have quick hands. And by waiting, you allow the ball to come deep. Quick hands allow you to handle the ball that comes deep.
Holiday with runners at second and third. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There was a slider down and in on Matt Carpenter's second at bat tonight, and I was thinking, don't see that too often. And you don't. You don't see him commit too early.
Two strikes on Holiday, 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3. 2 runs scored. Well, you come to the ballpark, you're in one of the suites, you're back there, you're not expecting a souvenir.
It's too far.
Ooh, a strikeout of Holiday that caught the corner. Cardinals strand 2. They've left 6 on, but they lead it 9-4 after 5. Moment of the Cardinals, and this Friday 25,000 fans entering with a ticket receive a portable phone charger courtesy of AT&T. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Pirates will be in town. Our first look at Clint Hurdle's club on Friday night. Well, the lineup change has produced 13 hits, 9 runs. Not a bad first night with Jay at the top of the order, Carpenter hitting second. I think you could hit Matt Carpenter anywhere in the lineup.
Anywhere.
And you're going to get the same result.
Anywhere in the top 5 spots.
Yeah. Here's Ryan Howard out in front. Yanks it foul. Howard is struck out and grounded out.
Dan, I'm not sure if the Cardinals are going to get Derek Cole or not this week, but Gordon Lakey, the director of scouting for the Phillies, told me that Derek Cole is the hottest pitcher in baseball right now.
He was telling us, too, that Garrett late innings in his previous start, I think it was against Arizona, was hitting 98 on the gun in the 8th inning.
Yeah, right.
He was part of a rotation at one point at UCLA that featured also Trevor Bauer. Think about those two as Howard is hit by the pitch. It's a frustrating night, I'm sure, for Michael Wacha, because usually one thing you can count on is very good control from Michael.
Yeah. Hitting Ryan Howard on that pad on the right elbow. Ryan appears to be all right.
Last inning, gave up a couple of runs, a pair of walks, and now he's hit Howard to start the top of the 6th. Cody Ashe is 0 for 2. Michael Franca is a prospect, one of the top prospects at AAA that the Phillies have, and Ashe beat him out in spring training. So a question right now for Ryan Sandberg, does Ashe stay at third? And they do like him, and he's been one of their better players so far this year, or do they look at another position for him? Here's a 1-1. Little flare into right center, that'll drop. And Howard staying put at second base. Watch every out-of-market game live in high definition with MLB.TV Premium. #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Blackout and other restrictions may apply. Visit MLB.TV. Ruiz here, and then the switch hitter in Freddie Galvis.
No guarantees in the game, are there?
No.
Figure you get one Michael Wacha 9 runs, he'll win in a breeze, and it's been a struggle over the last 3 innings.
Michael was telling me his brother just played their spring game. He's a football player at Wyoming.
Brother Lucas,
That's
linebacker, right?
Yes. Real good player, and his sister is an outstanding top prospect in volleyball in high school. 1-1 pitch to Carlos Ruiz. As you said, Tim, you know, they may be picking up something mechanically with Wacha that is just a tick off, but in the middle of the game, it's not the time to say, hey, you need to be thinking about this, that, and the other.
No, I don't think that's the case anyway. I just think he's wild right now. He just cannot find his spots over the last 3 innings.
1-2 pitch. Popped up and out of play. Randy Choate, who's been throwing, is up for the second time in the Cardinals' pen.
2 left-handers coming up after Ruiz. I think a lot depends on this at bat. Obviously, a double play, Wacha stays in there, but if he gets 1 out, then Mike Matheny's going to have to make up his mind whether he wants to bring in Choate to pitch back-to-back to left-handers.
Turn around Galvis and then Grady Sizemore.
Actually 3 in a row with Ben Revere at the leadoff spot.
Good changeup there. Swung on and missed, and strikeout of Ruiz. 4 tonight for Michael Wacha. Well, if there's ever a team that Randy Choate is going to pitch against, you would think it would be the Phillies.
I was thinking the same thing because of this situation right here. Good changeup by Wacha. Now you've got 3 left-handers in a row that are committed.
Could take it even further.
Sure.
You got Herrera
5.
and Utley.
Herrera and Utley. Yeah, the rare time that Randy Choate could pitch to 5 straight batters.
Galvis is 2 for 2. 1 out, runners at first and second. Line drive out to left. Holiday is there. It makes the catch. So 2 outs. And it brings in Grady Sizemore, and that's going to be it for Michael Wacha. Here comes Mike Matheny. So Randy Choate, the lefty specialist, coming on in our Chevy Colt to the pen. That's it for Michael Wacha. Cardinals leading 9-4, 2 runners on and 2 outs here at the top of the 6th. And a tough start on the year here for Randy Choate.
Dan, you could break that down even further. I think the left-handed batters, 1 out of every 2 pitches is going to be a breaking ball, either a slider, or curve, or whatever he calls it.
9-4 St. Louis. Here's Grady Sizemore. There are only 5 active players in the big leagues that were drafted by Montreal left. Grady Sizemore is one of them. Fans may forget Brandon Phillips was with the Expos. Cliff Lee is on the DL for the Phils. Jim Henderson on the DL for Milwaukee, and Ian Desmond of Washington. Those are the 5.
There's that breaking ball.
Randy would tell you this too. It's tough to have 7 appearances and only 3 outs. I mean, that's what he's got this year.
Yeah.
This being appearance number 8. And the 0-2. And a strikeout of Sizemore. Good work by Randy Choate. Strands a pair, sends us to the bottom of the 6th here at Busch Stadium. Game 2 of this 4-game series. 9-4 St. Louis. Cafe shake for just $1.99 at McDonald's. Final line on Michael Wacha, 5 2/3. Diekman still in the game for the Phillies. Wacha 6 hits, struck out 4, hit a man, walked 2. 91 pitches tonight for Michael Wacha. Does he drop down a bunt here? Just stick the bat out? Take it the other way?
Not a 9-4 ball game, I don't think.
The unwritten laws of baseball?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not like that. But I don't think so.
1-2. Adams is 3 for 3. This is as pronounced.
You said that with some venom toward me.
No.
I have feelings, you know.
I know you do. Get back in the corner, will you? There's a strikeout of Adams. See, I tell Al to get back in his cage. I tell you to get back in the corner. The Mazda game summary. Cardinals with a 9-4 lead. Gonzalez made his major league debut. He gave up 10 hits and 2 2/3. Utley 1 for 3. Wacha 5 2/3. And John Jay in the leadoff spot, 2 for 4 and a pair of RBIs. This is 40 pitches for Diekman. Cody Ashe 2 down.
That's the old ball one, ball two syndrome.
Yeah.
That Diekman had in the 6th inning, or in the 5th inning. 2 big runs scored by the Cardinals, might add.
Jason Hayward on base 3 times tonight. Pair of walks and 1 for 1. I think it's going to be interesting to see as this year goes on where the numbers wind up with Jason Hayward. You know, we've talked so much about it. Is he an on-base guy? Is he going to be the power hitter that hit 27 a couple years ago, home runs? Getting acclimated to a new team.
Acclimated to a mask on the right side of his face, too. Being hit by a pitch last year. It's not that necessarily that Jason has been making outs, but how he's been making outs. A lot of ground balls, turnovers, balls to the second baseman. Those are lethal outs for a left-handed hitter. And the way to try to get out of them is to hitting the ball up the middle into left field in batting practice. And that's what he's been trying to do.
And you watched that today specifically.
Yeah, we did.
Jonathan Neese was the one that hit Jason Hayward on the job.
Fine left-hander for the Mets. What a start they're out to. 15-5 going into tonight's play.
Tim, how odd is it that the Mets and Astros are on pace for 100 wins and the Washington Nationals are 8 games out and have the 2nd worst record in the National League?
Oh, my gosh.
They've lost 6 in a row coming into play tonight.
Right.
And they're actually a game back of the Phillies. The Phillies are not in last place in the East. It's Washington. That's hard to imagine with that pitching staff.
It is. Even with the injuries, Rendon's been out there, fine third baseman, of course.
3rd walk for Hayward. Now Molina, who was robbed by Ashe back in the 5th.
Ian Desmond, their fine shortstop, with some problems other than just fielding.
They're the worst defensive team right now statistically in baseball.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you were spot on. And it's early and things can change in a hurry, but that bullpen is not to the caliber that it needs to be.
No, that to me is the biggest problem with the Washington Nationals right now. Their bullpen. And the loss of Craig Stammen.
Big.
He was their setup guy for Drew Storen.
5 years of 70 or more appearances consecutive. 2 balls and no strikes. With baseball, and we've seen it so many times, all of a sudden they win 5 in a row and they take off.
Yep.
You know, start winning series, get back. Rendon comes back, as you talked about. Span gets healthier.
The Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
Had lost 5 in a row to the Mets. The Mets were 5-0 against them. Everybody anticipating big things from them this year. Huge contract. Giancarlo Stanton signed. Chris Yelich, their fine center fielder, left fielder.
Jose Fernandez will be back at some point this year.
Yeah. Echeverria, their acrobatic shortstop, brilliant defensively. Rugged starts.
Yep. Here's a 2-2. Molina puts it in play. Slowly hit. Utley will go to first. And that'll send us to the 7th. Cardinals leading 9-4 here at Busch Stadium. Rams Bud Light Draft Day Party at Fox Sports Midwest Live across the street at Ballpark Village. Giveaway specials and appearances by players, cheerleaders, and Rampage. Rams Draft Day Party Thursday, 5:30 at Ballpark Village. Come on down, enjoy the day game, and then stay for the Draft Day Party this Thursday. Ben Revere, then Herrera, and Utley. So 3 lefties in a row here for Randy Choate as we start playing the 7th, and the Cardinals leading by the score of 9-4. We had Diekman in the game. I mentioned he's from Nebraska. Cody Ashe played at the University of Nebraska. He's a Cornhusker. His parents are from there. And how could I forget the Phillies connection with Nebraska? Tilden, Nebraska. Richie Ashburn.
Oh, boy.
Hall of Famer. I know one of your favorites.
I loved Whitey, his nickname. Worked with him 80, 81, and 82 as part of the Phillies broadcast. The real characters in the game. I was ready to give up golf. And he said, "Pal, try my golf clubs." We were both left-handed golfers. He was a horrible putter, but a pretty good player.
Wasn't that one of his nicknames too, Putt Putt?
Putt Putt, right. He couldn't make a putt.
Right.
Horrible putter. So I tried the clubs. They were fine. And afterwards I said, "Whitey, I'd like to buy those clubs from you."
Put in play, slowly hit. Carpenter. And the ball scoots away. And Revere scoots on down to second base.
Probably be a base hit and a throwing error on Matt Carpenter. Underthrowing Matt Adams at first base. Probably a hit and an error. Second hit and an error that Revere actually he had a hit his first time up, but it wasn't an error on the play. Anyway, so I told Whitey I wanted to buy his clubs, and he said, "Don't you realize how emotional those clubs are for me? The Phillies gave them to me one of the nights they held for me in 1970. I said, "Whitey, I'll give you $400 for them." And he looked at me and he had that pregnant pause that was perfectly comedic. So much for emotion. So I gave him $400. So much for emotion.
They obviously held a special part.
I still have that persimmon wood in my bag.
Do you really?
Yeah.
And that it doesn't have the inscription too?
Yes, Whitey on the head cover. Yes.
They obviously meant a lot to him.
Oh, man, what a character.
It's great. Here's Herrera. No balls and a strike. They've had a lot of losing with the Phillies, but a lot of characters along the way. You were part of that. Some good Phillies teams. Late 70s.
76, 7, and 8, winning the division. Won 101 games 2 years in a row in 76 and 7. And finally, their first world championship in 1980.
Here's the 0-2. Some may not know this. Tim McCarver was part of a Boston Red Sox team that was pretty famous for a long time until 2004 came along.
Yeah, 1975 Red Sox. The famous Fisk home run. I was not a part of the postseason. I was released when Carlton Fisk came back on the list. I was released in late June of that year.
Reunion this weekend?
Yeah, reunion next Tuesday, right.
Pitch taken outside, 1-2.
I might be the only member of that team, ex-member of that team, who will be booed in a Red Sox shirt because of all those World Series being played back in 2004. The Yankees to get there.
There's a strikeout of Herrera. Well,
I think Herrera thought that ball was low. It may have been, too.
As we have found out, when you broadcast, and especially if you're on the national level and you're supposed to be impartial, Every Red Sox fan is saying Tim likes the Yankees.
Yeah,
Every Yankees fan is saying he likes the Red Sox.
Right.
You can't win.
Right, no. It is an unwinnable situation. Both Joe Buck and I found that out.
I bet.
A long time ago.
1 out and a runner at second for Chase Utley. He slaps it the other way. Well hit. Holliday spun around, makes the catch. Nice play, Matt Holliday.
Matt did turn the wrong way, but turned the right way to catch it. Good play.
Waiting for a hitter now is Holliday. He makes the good play right in front of the track. If Choate gets an inning and a third, it will only be his 7th game with more than an inning pitched in 133 games with the St. Louis Cardinals.
My gosh.
That's the definition of your lefty specialist.
Oh boy, I'll say.
So Andres Blanco, who is a switch hitter, will hit in the 4th spot with 2 outs and a runner at second base. Three for 14 in this early portion of the season. Runner at second base. That's Revere. And that will drop fair down the right field line, and a run will score. Cuts a lead to 9-5. Well, you got another lefty up here now, and Ryan Howard, so that's why you see Choate staying in the game,
right,
to face the switch hitter.
All right, the Phillies currently have 7 of the 9 position players that are left-handed batters, other than, of course, the pinch hitter. Revere scoring easily on the play. It's still uncomfortable for the Cardinals.
Doesn't feel comfortable one bit.
No.
Hasn't since about the 5th.
Yeah.
So Ryan Howard in. He's been hit by a pitch, grounded out to second, and also struck out in the second. (9-5) St. Louis lead. And against Randy Choate, 0 for 9. The shift is on here for Howard. Hits into the shift. That's Peralta, and he makes the play. Time to stretch. Game 2 of this 4-game set. Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We're in the bottom of the 7th, and along with Jim Hayes and Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you on Fox Sports Midwest. New pitcher in for the Philadelphia Phillies, Justin DeFreitas, his 9th appearance. 11 hits in 9 innings. And this is part of our Chevy call to the pen. Wong. Showed spot, so we'll see a pinch hitter. And then John Jay. An offensive night for St. Louis with 13 hits and 9 runs. A couple of blue hits tonight for Colton. Also grounded out to second. Cody Stanley is moved to the on-deck circle. DeFreitas on his second opening day roster for the Philadelphia Phillies. 1 point last year, had an 11-inning scoreless streak. Got on the map for the Phillies, looking ahead to this season. And now one of 7 right-handers that they have in their pen. A 2-1 pitch to Colton Wong. 3-1. Popped up. Ashe is over along with Ruiz, and it's Ashe coming in near his own dugout to make the play. And the first man is retired here in the bottom of the 7th. The pinch hitter will be Cody Stanley. Cody, the 26-year-old from Clinton, North Carolina. Drafted back in 2010, and Mike Matheny talking about Cody this past week, that had the chance to work with him when he was an instructor, and now managing the club, is very familiar with Cody Stanley. Last year we did see him in spring training and an invite to the Major League camp. Played at Double-A primarily, 103 games. Was a Texas League All-Star last season. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ouch. 1-2. Fourth round selection back in 2010 for the Cardinals. Cardinals will have to make a corresponding move with promotion of Tim Cooney coming up on Thursday afternoon. And he pops that foul. 1-2. Stanley, we saw in his first at bat in the major leagues against Milwaukee, turned around a 95-mile-an-hour fastball with a base hit into right. Just missed.
Yeah, I asked Cody during batting practice yesterday, said hanging slider. He said, Said they hang sliders in the big leagues.
Every once in a while.
Not nearly as many as they do in AAA.
Doesn't chase. First at bat, the base hit. Last night he had a good at bat, pinch hitting. Wound up being an out, but you know, some guys come up and you watch him and you say they're overmatched, and he has not looked like that so far. 3-2 pitch. May have chased a ball. The crowd tonight of 40,143. 40143. And a ground ball chopped to second. 2 down. The fans will be happy. Cardinals have scored 9 tonight. And when they score 6, 6 is a serious number. Get any size coffee, fountain, or frozen drink tomorrow for just 50 cents at your local On the Run. You earned it. Here's John Jay, grounded out in the first, a single and RBI in the second, hit into a fielder's choice in the third, and picked up an infield hit and an RBI in the fifth. Hits it the other way, slicing near the line and positioned perfectly with a jump is Revere.
You won't see a left fielder playing that close to the line for any hitter in baseball.
And then he turned into Edwin Moses. Watch out. And a Bomberito Sports Update with Pat Paris.
Wow.
So they snapped the 6-game losing skid.
Yeah.
Sometimes a win like that, propels a team.
It's weird, but you're right.
Chevy called to the pen. Mitch Harris, the great story. And now making his debut here in St. Louis. Made his debut over the weekend against the Milwaukee Brewers. It only took him 7 years, 2 tours of the Persian Gulf, and a diplomatic mission to Russia. The normal path to the big leagues.
Right.
And here he is. 29-year-old right-hander. And Tim, I was looking at his numbers in the minor leagues. I mean, it's an incredibly low amount of appearances in the minor leagues just to get to this point. 29, most guys are saying, well, if I'm not in the big leagues at this point, it's over.
Yeah, his years in adolescence were in the Navy.
Absolutely. Well hit out to center. John Jay is back. And he makes the catch.
Reminds you of number 15 a little bit. Left-handed thrower, left-handed hitter.
By the way, Jim Edmonds will be with us on Friday night. We're going to give him a microphone, which is dangerous enough, but he'll be right up there on Friday during our telecast. So we're going to have him and get the perspective of a Gold Glover in center field.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
That's fabulous.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. You have Andrew McCutchen playing center field. Ruiz, fly ball into right. There's Hayward. I'm looking forward to it. Jimmy was always one of my favorites when he was here in St. Louis as a player, and now working with us on Fox Sports Midwest on some limited games in the pre and post. Good guy.
Fun to talk round ball with Jimmy.
Oh. And smart. There are certain players, Tim, as you know, they are gifted. All of them, just to be here, are gifted athletically. But there are guys that are so smart.
They get it quicker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
Jimmy's one of those, yes.
High baseball IQ. There's a strike to Freddie Galvis. Sometimes you just wish you could be Fred Bird. 0-2 the count. Hit to the right side and a base hit.
Galvis digging that ball out of the dirt to hit to right field. Freddie Galvis batting .344 coming into the game and 3 for 4 tonight. He's a good player.
Here's Grady Sizemore with 2 outs and a runner at first. And that's well hit. Opposite way. Holiday is over and makes the catch on the track.
April air.
July, that's in the seats of the bullpen.
Probably.
Bud Light. It reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. Bud Light. History Museum at Forest Park. Not too far away from us here in downtown St. Louis and Busch Stadium. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, Dan McLaughlin with you. Matt Carpenter in the second spot in the lineup tonight. This move has paid off, at least initially here this evening, as Carpenter has a triple, a double. So now up to 14 multi-hit games.
Seeing Forest Park brings back so many memories. The Muni Opera's not open yet, right?
Not yet.
Like in late May, early June.
I believe so, right.
I think, yeah. And fabulous memories. Muni Opera holds.
Oh, Muni Opera, you got the golf course, museum. 2-0 the count on Carpenter. Yeah, we were talking about Jim Edmonds. I said this when the Hall of Fame announcement came out this last year, which includes John Smoltz, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Craig Biggio. Take a hard look at the numbers for Jim Edmonds. He's right there. I mean, he is awfully close. And I think one of the things that's going to help him, Tim, is that he played in a day and age where ESPN and Fox Sports 1 front and center, and if there was a guy that defined the highlight reel catch, it was Jim Edmonds. Some of those great plays that were seen nationally by so many that vote on these players.
And the thing about Jim, he made the brilliant play routinely.
Yes. Walk to Carpenter. Played with Curt Flood, saw Willie McGee, Jim Edmonds. There have been some outstanding talents in center field for the Cardinals over the years.
Yeah.
Jimmy is not far away from, at least certainly in the discussion of guys that are being talked about for the Hall of Fame. Not sure he'd get in, but he's in that discussion at least. Here's Holiday, who's 2 for 4.
And about anybody who's ever played with the Cardinals, Jimmy had a flair for the dramatic.
Did he ever? 2004 is NLCS Game 6 and 7. Game 6, extra innings, hits a home run to send us to Game 7. And this is where the smarts of Jim Edmonds comes into play. It was Brad Ausmus at the plate. Suppan is on the mound, Game 7. And Edmonds makes a diving catch that saved a couple of runs in left center. And he was telling me last year in spring training he had actually moved about 5 steps, knowing the pitch, where it was going to be, and knowing Ausmus of exactly where he thought he had to be to make that play if he pulled the ball. And he felt he would against Suppan. And Ausmus was one that did not pull many. But that's the IQ of a great player that put himself.
Jeff was not throwing very hard at that time.
Right.
I wonder if Ausmus, who is now the manager of the Detroit Tigers, would remember that. I know he'd remember the catch, but that he had ever heard Edmonds talk about the 5 feet in the left center field.
I asked him at spring training.
Oh, you did? Oh, you did?
Yeah. He said, I guess those two had talked at some point about it.
Boy, that's fun.
But Jimmy was just a brilliant player.
Yeah, when you can get that connection and find out years later that the other guy thought it too, that's fun. That's what makes a game fun.
2 balls, 2 strikes here on Holiday with a runner at first base. And Holiday a base hit into right. And Carpenter hesitated around the bag at second, saw the bobble, and now on his way to third.
Yeah, I think because of the hesitation, it'll probably be an error on Grady Sizemore in right field.
I'm not sure there's many that hit the ball any harder than Matt Holiday. That ball was scorched.
And when a guy hits the ball the other way, he hits it with his arms. He doesn't need his body. And Matt Holliday's arms are as big as a lot of bodies. That's true. Sorry. That's a fact.
It is. So Peter Borges will pinch run for Holliday, with the Cardinals leading 9-5 here in the home half of the 8th. And here's Matt Adams. Adams is 3 for 4 tonight. The infield is in for the Phils. There goes Borges, swung on and missed, and a stolen base. There's that hit speed over 101 miles per hour. So it is a base hit and an error on Sizemore. You talk about hitting lanes to the left side. The infield is in. Third baseman Cody Ashe is playing near the second baseman Utley, and Freddie Galvis, the shortstop, is on the grass. Walks into the pitch and he winds up on the grass. Adams hits it to left. Carpenter will tag up. Catch is made. Here comes Carpenter. And he's safe, and the Cardinals have put up a 10 spot here tonight. Matt Adams, his second RBI, now up to 10.
Good night for Matt Adams. 3 for 4, couple of ribbies, and a sac fly to his credit. Strong throw from Revere in left field. Carpenter safe.
It's now 17 runs scored by Matt Carpenter this year. Johnny Peralta. Only one out.
It's not an offensive statistic in which Matt Carpenter has not excelled. Every facet. Power, consistency, runs scored, RBIs, most of them from the leadoff spot.
August 30th of last year, last time the Cardinals scored 10 or more runs. They had 13 against the Cubs. Peralta on a hop and played to the side by Galvis. Borges stays put at second base. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Michael Wacha in line for the victory tonight. If Cardinals can get the final 3 outs, we'll see if they can add to their lead. No activity in the pen, so you may see Mitch Harris finish this ball game. Error ruled on Galvis, so that's his third. And here's Hayward. A foul ball. Cardinals with 3 against Pittsburgh this weekend, and Monday will welcome in Joe Madden and the Chicago Cubs. Cubs win tonight 6-2 over Pittsburgh.
They're 12-7 now.
Inside. And Pat Paris, along with Rick Horton, will have all the scores and highlights coming up. 10 or more runs in 2013. The Cardinals did it 19 times. Last year, just 3. And the first time this season, chopped high off the plate. DeFreitas will take it himself, steps on the bag, and the runners advance to second and third. So 2 outs, second and third, and it brings in Yadier Molina. And it looks like Ryan Sandberg will go to his bullpen again. The former Pirate, Genmar Gomez.
One of 8 right-handers in the Philly bullpen. Dan mentioned earlier that Jake Diekman, the only left-hander. Kind of tough to carry a bullpen with only one left-hander in there. Too many good left-handed hitters in both leagues.
So 2 outs, 2 on, 10-5 St. Louis. Here's Yadier Molina. Gomez from Venezuela. Saw him the last 2 years with Pittsburgh. He was signed by the Phillies as a minor league free agent. Ripped into center field. 1 run is in. They'll hold up the next runner at third. And Molina picks up the RBI. Borges scores. Peralta held at third. And that makes it 11-5.
Big close game. Jose Oquendo's going to send Peralta, but 11-6 game. You don't want to take a chance on having a collision with your #1 shortstop at home plate. Especially with 2 outs. This ball hammered to center field, hit hard by Molina.
So 2 outs, 2 on. Here's Colton Wong. Redbirds leading 11-5. Right down the middle. Off speed pitch. Strike 1. Wong, a good night. Couple of base hits. Strike 2. Mark Reynolds has moved to the on-deck circle. Cardinals with a right-hander throwing in the pen. Nice play by Gomez. St. Louis adds to their lead. It's now 11-5. Villanueva warming up. And the Cardinals leading 11-5. Villanueva primarily used as your long man out of the pen, and in this case 6-run lead. So he'll be asked to get the final 3 outs. John Jay is moved to left. Peter Borges is in center, and Hayward's still in right. 15-hit attack tonight for St. Louis. Pete Kozma is your new shortstop. So Ben Revere, then Herrera and Utley against Carlos Villanueva. Started his pro career with the Giants back in 2002. Then he was acquired by Milwaukee. Spent a little time with Toronto. 2 years with the Cubs and now St. Louis. Breaking ball, 0-2.
Hot things happening in Los Angeles tonight. Bumgarner against Kershaw.
Ooh.
Biggie. 2 of the best left-handers in the game. Dodgers have won 8 straight home games at Dodger Stadium.
It's pulled foul. Bumgarner, your postseason MVP. Kershaw, regular season MVP. O2 pitch.
Addison Bumgarner, Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. It's high praise. Can't get any higher.
And as we were talking about off the air before the ball game, and it's not to take away from what he did. I mean, what he did was sensational. There's a good changeup. But you look at your era and even after your era of guys that threw like that, you know, coming back on short days rest.
Absolutely. You know, and you just wonder, were the arms different then? Not really. Pitchers pitched as long as they do nowadays. But there is such a concentration on pitch count, things like that. And the more the pitchers are, some people call it babying. That's probably a little rough. It's not appropriate. Because I'm not sure the pitchers want that. But the more care that is given to arms nowadays, it seems like the more they break down.
Popped up, shallow left, 2 down.
Sometimes even repetitive service.
Right.
Repetitive surgery, beg your pardon. With Tommy John surgery more than once.
It's unbelievable. Guys are
really
having it twice now. Budweiser player of the game, Matt Adams, 3 for 4. A couple of RBIs and a run scored. St. Louis trying to snap a 2-game losing skid here tonight. 2 outs, nobody on, and Utley looks at a ball. Walker not overly sharp, but the offense was. It came alive with a little change at the top here tonight with John Jay in the leadoff spot. Matt Carpenter dropping down to the 2nd spot. Hayward dropping down in the lineup. 15 hits, 11 runs.
I think we'll see that lineup again tomorrow night.
I would think so.
Yeah.
The 1-1. Ground ball, and this should do it. Backhanded by Colton Wong, and the Cardinals win it by the final of 11-5. The Cardinals had 7 runs in the first 3 innings and never looked back. 15 hits, they hold on and win it 11-5.
Every inning a multi-run inning in which they scored. 5 multi-run innings tonight, by far their best of the season, by far.
Matt Carpenter, another big night. What a start to his season. Cardinals win it 11-5. Post-game show is next.